thought the night was safe. They thought they still had time, but when the engines arrived, when the shadows stepped out of the trees with guns and orders, the man who hid an alien child finally understood. The world wasn't searching for the truth. It was hunting a threat. Inside the cabin, the girl woke with fear in her eyes. But the human standing beside her didn't reach for comfort. He reached for a weapon, because tonight wasn't about running. Tonight was about choosing where to stand, and what you're willing to become, when the universe comes to take away the one thing you swore to protect. The night was supposed to be quiet. Eli had planned it that way. No lights, no noise, no signals that might betray the life he was hiding. But the universe had a talent for arriving early, just when a man thought he still had time. Sarah, the alien child, was asleep on the old couch. Curled beneath a blanket she still didn't know how to wrap properly. Her breathing was slow, deep, peaceful. The kind of peace Eli hadn't seen on her face in weeks. He almost smiled. Almost. Because outside the cabin, something was moving. Not footsteps. Not animals. Engines, low, muffled. Military. Eli froze, every instinct sharpened. He put down the bowl he'd been quietly washing and stepped toward the window. No light inside. Just moonlit reflections outside. 3 black transport vehicles. No headlights. No markings. Government, or worse, private military. They had found her. His pulse didn't spike. Eli had lived too long in too many dangerous corners of the world. He didn't panic. He calculated. He had maybe 2 minutes. He turned to the couch. Sarah was still asleep, unaware that the world she feared was closing in. He knelt beside her and whispered, "Sarah, wake up." Her eyes opened instantly, wide and alert, like she'd been waiting for that exact moment. Her species didn't wake slowly. They woke ready. She looked at him, then at the shadows on his face, and she understood before he said a word. "They found us?" she asked, voice quiet, trembling. "Yes," Eli said. She swallowed. Her hands shook, just barely. "Are we running again?" "No," Eli said. "This time, we're choosing where to stand." The first knock, the vehicle stopped. Doors opened. Boots crunched over gravel, disciplined, in sync. "Not police, not amateurs, Eli Ward," a voice called from outside. Not shouted, spoken like a promise. "You're harboring unauthorized extraterrestrial life. You have 30 seconds to comply." Sarah's breathing tightened. "They want to take me." Eli didn't lie to her. "Yes, will you let them?" she whispered. He didn't answer with words. He stood up, opened the drawer under the sink, and removed a matte black pistol, silent, polished. Prepared long before tonight. Her eyes widened, not in fear, but in realization. "You knew this day would come." Eli checked the weapon. "I knew humans don't stay quiet when something scares them." Sarah's choice. She rose from the couch, clutching the blanket like it could help her blend into the air. Her voice was small but not weak. "If I go with them, will they stop hurting others like me?" Eli turned to look at her, slow, deliberate. "No, they don't want to study you. They want to control you, or kill what they can't." Sarah lowered her head. "That's what they did on my world too." Eli froze. That was the first time she'd spoken about her home. He knew better than to ask for more. Outside, the voice returned, colder, harder. 10 seconds. "Ward." The promissory walked to the door but stopped when he felt a small hand grab his sleeve. "Why are you helping me?" she asked, voice trembling with something bigger than fear. Hope. He didn't turn fully, but his voice softened. "Because the universe doesn't get to decide your story. You do." Something changed in her eyes. Not human, not child. Something ancient and wounded and waking. She nodded, and then she did something Eli hadn't expected. She stepped in front of him. "I'm not afraid anymore," she whispered. "Good," Eli replied. "But fear isn't the problem. What is?" He chambered around, underestimating humans. The door opens. The knock came again. This time, metal against wood. Final warning. Eli opened the door himself. The armed squad outside didn't expect calm. They expected surrender. Or panic. Instead, they saw a man who looked like he'd already chosen how he would die. And beside him, a small alien child standing silent, eyes glowing softly like starlight underwater. The commander hesitated, just long enough for the universe to shift, because the girl was no longer hiding behind Eli. She was standing with him, The world had come to take her, but now it would have to survive her. The world outside the cabin held its breath. The squad of armed soldiers expected fear, surrender, desperation. But what they saw was a man standing in the doorway like a wall, and a small alien girl beside him, silent, watching them with eyes that did not belong to a frightened child. The commander raised a gloved hand. "Step aside." "Ward, she's not one of us." Eli didn't blink. "She's under my protection." "That's not how this works." Eli's voice dropped, calm, unshakable. "It is tonight." The soldier lifted his rifle. The girl lowered her head, and the universe paused, just long enough for something ancient inside her to wake. The first light, Sarah, wasn't trembling anymore. Her fingers slowly uncurled from the blanket. Her breathing softened. Her eyes began to glow, just faintly at first, like starlight caught in motion. Eli saw it, not fear, not power, memory. She whispered, barely audible. "They always come with weapons first, and questions never." Eli didn't ask what she meant. He already knew. This wasn't the first world that tried to claim her. The commander's mistake. The commander stepped forward. Voice sharp, target confirmed, non-human life form. "Restrain and extract." Eli's grip tightened on the pistol. He wasn't going to shoot first. He wasn't stupid, but he also wasn't going to move. The soldier closest to them raised a stun rifle, and that was the moment the air changed. The temperature dropped. The wind froze, and every piece of metal within a meter of Sarah began to hum, not loudly but deeply, like something enormous was waking beneath the earth. The soldiers noticed. Their instincts yelled before their training did. "Sir, something's happening." Too late. What she really was, a white-violet shimmer ignited beneath Sarah's skin. Not fire, memory energy. Something her species never meant to use unless they were hunted. Eli stepped slightly toward her. "Not away. You don't have to fight," he whispered. She didn't look at him. "I'm not fighting," she said softly. "I'm remembering." Her eyes burst open, and for the first time since arriving on Earth, her true nature surfaced. Not weapon, not monster, not experiment, a living archive, a species built to preserve what dying worlds forgot. And now, Earth was trying to erase her. The field awakens. The nearest soldier aimed. A pulse shot forward and dissolved mid-air, like it hit a wall of invisible glass. The men stepped back, shouting, "What the hell? Non-standard defense field. Fall back." But the field wasn't Eli's. It was hers, a sphere of soft light, fragile-looking but impossibly dense, formed around her like a breathing shield. Even the snow-thin dust on the ground hovered weightless around her feet. The commander raised his weapon again, barking orders, and Sarah spoke, voice trembling with old grief. "Your world is not the first to fear what it doesn't understand." The choice she makes, Ellie didn't tell her to stop. He didn't tell her what to do. He just said the one thing no one had ever told her before. "You're not alone anymore." Something in her broke, not violently, but gently, like ice thawing. Her glow dimmed, her breath steadied, and instead of unleashing power, she stepped forward and placed herself between. "Eli and the rifles, not a shield, a choice. I won't hurt you," she said to the soldiers, "but I will not go with you." And because she meant it with a purity no human voice could imitate, the rifles did not fire. The second mistake, but the commander wasn't done. He tapped his comm. Authorization L5, deploy override protocol. And from the back vehicle, a containment unit opened. It wasn't meant to detain her. It was meant to erase her. Sarah's glow flickered. Eli saw fear return, not for herself, but for him. "They'll kill you to get me," she said. He looked at her with the calm of a man who already chose long ago. "Then they're not getting either of us."